I'm Gucci. Alright, Lash is giving me the heads up. Alright, just my apologies. Okay, so so I did this game last marathon, and a little bit different this time. So I'm gonna do all comics, and all comics is pretty much collecting all these comics. So it becomes a collectathon at this point, rather than your glitch fest. So the run compared to 90% is very unorthodox. A lot of different routes are being used. So we can get started here. On go, I'll count from 3 to go. So 3, 2, 1, go. If you started too late, I do apologize. Out of sync, but here we go. So this first part, just swing. So the way that the comics are organized, they're very they're usually one per level is the rule, but in very rare occasions there's two or none. So the first level we had there was none. So here's the first glitch. Just skip once you get the comic, you can just go back to the cuts, go back and restart. And yeah, that's the first comic, and we got lots more to go. A lot of the comics are very straightforward. A lot of them are not. That one was pretty obvious. Like I played this as a kid back then, and like a lot of the comics were like pretty easy back then. But the next comic, like I'll show you here, was not so obvious. And what's neat about the comics is that once you do actually get all the comics, you get the Spider-Man 2099 suit. And that was the second comic. It was hiding under the under the chair, but you have to break the chair to get it. Right. So the next comic here, we're gonna stick with the 80% route, but we're just gonna take another extra path at the end. So we want to do things as regular. We want to get the bomb inside. Pretty easy.
What can I do about the bomb?
But I'm not sure 100% when the comic happens. But normally if we don't glitch the map, we're gonna have all the doors open. It's pretty accessible. But for speedrunning purposes, it's right back here. So you just have to click back in, grab it, and this is our third comic. Honestly, I'll just lose track of the comics after like the Scorpion fight, so no point in counting because I don't know what number it is. I just know where everything is at this point. It's just a memory test for me. So I do apologize if I missed 1 or 2 comics. I will go back and get them eventually. Oh, well, this is another cool glitch. Stop it. There we go. So if you skip the cutscene a bit too fast, you get the mission failed cutscene failure. That is if you just press escape too fast. It's only on the PC version because this version is completely broken. Like it's kind of unbelievable how broken this version is. Aside from the visual glitches that the staff has seen, it's pretty bad. So yeah. And then that was the other comic. That's a pretty straightforward one. Oh, the next one is not so straightforward. If it was 8-year-old me back then, or like 6-7-year-old me when I played this, I would never guess. So in this one, you have to destroy all of these furniture. Jameson, don't get in my way. What's cool about this is that if Jameson hides behind it, kind of speeds up the process of breaking everything. So we'll just leave Jameson alone. We can blow this up.
We can still make a deal.
We just gotta get these. Sometimes if you're really lucky, you can get like Scorpion to break a lot of stuff. We'll just throw this one at him, or we'll just miss it completely. Okay. And the comic spawns in the middle. And I got it. Sometimes the sound glitches out, so I don't know if I get them. Oh no, this ain't good. It's okay, we'll recover. Okay. Block my attacks. Nice. So, we're Gucci here. So that's comic 5 out of the many more. This comic, there's a comic in here. This comic is not so straightforward. Only if you kind of stick around at the end, you'll see the comic. But yeah, that Scorpion one is definitely one of the harder ones. If it was me back then playing, I would never have guessed that. So the comic is actually in this box in front of me, but you gotta wait for it to blow up. So he's gonna blow it up, and right there it is. Stop it. There we go. And then we got that one. And then this one, there's no comic, so there's nothing for me to worry about. It's just climbing to the top. If I were to put a comic, because some comics are very like stupidly placed, I would have definitely placed one in here. Maybe one at the sides, to be quite honest with you, if it was up to me. But there is something like that in the next two missions, so I guess that's the reason why I didn't put it in. Nice. I missed timing on that. And to speed things up, you can just zip up, but obviously with my frame perfect skills. Oh, I was not able to get it. Here we have another obvious comics. I do apologize for not explaining most of the strats. Mostly the comics is what's really interesting about this run. The strats I will explain in some detail if there are like crazy strats. But for this game, the strats that we usually use, it's actually the older any percent routes. So like when any percent was like 30 minutes back then, or like high 20s, we use like certain strats. Oh, and then we got this glitch. If Spider-Man lands on an angle, you can actually change the dimension of his swing, so he can swing higher or lower. And then there's another glitch. That part is you're not supposed to go there before it blows up. So yeah, because I'm Speedy Gonzalez, guys. So we go to here, and here is what I was referring to the last two missions. So there's a comic right here. Oh, and here is the beautiful artifacting that DX1 likes to show.
Enough with the shooting already.
So we get, and what's nice about these, like I said before, when I did these runs, I didn't actually reset the mission. And shoutouts to Strudel, but he found out that you can just like reset and make your life a little bit easier, rather than having to set up like so much different strats. Oh, and by the way, that falling animation was a cutscene skip. You normally would watch a cutscene, saves about that saves about 3 to 4 seconds. The next comic here, not so obvious. You have to break a wall. You can just break it like that. Pick it up. Nope. Oh. Okay, so we're gonna have to kind of improvise here. Not the worst recovery. I guess we'll do. And we're Gucci. Oh, like this is like the Scorpion one. For this comic, you gotta blow up these barrels, but Rhino's really annoying. He likes to charge a lot, which is typical of his character. But we just blow up these crates here, and we just hide behind here, and we can just easily get it without being distracted, and we just get him to hit here. There you go. None the way. And then he's gonna hit here. And then there you go. Oh, I'm gonna let him hit here. Just for security purposes, and then we do it the regular way.
Oh, are your ears ringing?
already got it.
Can you come lock the door, please?
Alright, just give me a second.
Hurry up, Parker.
So yeah, yeah, my sister is going to work.
Move it, Spidey.
When I just came back to work, we'll do it on the subway mission, which is a free intermission.
Gotta keep moving.
Ah, shoot. So, in this mission, we got 2 comics. The 2 comics here are pretty straightforward, nothing too crazy. One behind here,
Golden.
and one by the Spidey armor, which I already picked up. And because of that,
Quit slacking, boy.
very easy ones.
Come on, Parker.
Okay, there we go. I didn't want one to soft lock here.
And look out.
If you go too quick, Venom will not go in the cutscene. So
Get out of my way now.
yeah,
Watch that first step, Parker. It's a doozy.
Ow, my head. Oh, toe, ow.
oh, and by the way, for those
Look out, lady.
for Benedict asking about the keyboard, it's a Model M.
Oh,
It's one of
sorry.
those clicky keyboards back in the 80s. Very good keyboard, I'd say. Has some ghosting issues with newer games, but only with a few games. But in this case, yeah, we just got the comics. I mean, there's not much to go here. I think this is one of the more meh missions to speedrun. Very generic. Just your okay, that's nice. You normally don't want to drop so much altitude. So, yeah.
If you want to fight, follow me.
Yeah, like there's literally nothing much to go on here. And also strats that we use for movement wise. We just cancel swing and swing again. It gains the momentum of a far swing, which is like the quickest way to swing. Like say if you're close range to a wall, you'll swing far, but doing that particular strat will like emulate it, to say the least. There you go. There you go.
You can run,
Did not miss any comics.
Can't
Nice.
hide.
So for this comic, is not very straightforward. It is straightforward if you are one of those exploration type kind of guys. So when you trigger that dialogue, the comic will happen. You just have to backtrack, and it's not that hard. Just not straightforward, to say the least. There you go. Pick it up. And also with the strats, with the any percent strats, the reason why we don't use the current ones is that they deload too much of the mission. So when they deload completely, the comics will not load. So yeah, you're gonna stick with the older routes, which deload only part of missions.
Am I late for the party?
More importantly, the warehouse missions, which is now completely disgusting of a route as of this year.
Open this door.
Who is it?
And this dialogue just kills me, bro. Acting is pretty god tier in this game, I'd say. It's
Come in.
I know the guy who voices Venom. He's like in a lot of TV shows. I think he was like the janitor from Nitty Class Special Survival Guide.
The next pipe's using my targeting mode.
But yeah, back to where we are. This here is your next comic. It's hiding behind a waterfall. It's actually easier here than the PS1 versions. The PS1 versions and the N64 versions are like the textures are very outdated. Like so they upgraded the textures for this and Dreamcast, and
I'm already at full health.
the waterfall is actually like solid completely.
Wanna lift? Hang on, Parker. Mary Jane.
So we're gonna do the glitch here, and I'm gonna lock the door like I promised my sister I would. So hopefully we get this in under like 2 seconds. Okay, I think we can get this.
I'm already at
There we go. All right, we're good. Don't worry, I'll be back momentarily, boys.
I'm already at full health.
Alright, so when we got... Yeah, so...
I'm already
Yeah, for this glitch, this makes this mission like, what's the word to put it? It makes this like, a chill mission. And what's really nice about this mission, it's halfway, like, through, like, the game. So it's a good resting point.
already at full health.
But yeah, yeah, this is the longest section in the game. I think this is, the next longest is the Doc Ock mission, the Monster Ock section, which doesn't take which is like a little bit short, like 30 seconds shorter. But yeah, this is a good break. This is probably like one of the best speed games for like if you want a break in it, because it sits perfectly at the halfway point.
I'm already at full health.
And this is also really good. And this mission's also really good because when you're standing still at this particular spot, you can fill up your web cartridges, so you don't have to death warp, which gives you back the 9 cartridges. I think in normal difficulty you'll get 5 or 6, not 100% sure. And at hard mode you'll get only 2 web cartridges. So even in hard difficulty you'll get up to 10 in like no problems if you obviously don't use that much cartridges. So see, I'm full already. So yeah. And we still have the armor too. I mean, it's not really important for easy, but you know, it's nice to have. That's all I gotta say. There you go. So next comic here is pretty obvious. What makes a lot of these comics really easy is just how limited the level design was. Like, I mean, you get this end of the hallway, like a kid's gonna explore it, and the comic was right there if you didn't catch it. But yeah, it's very simplistic stuff. It doesn't make it too challenging. I think definitely the more challenging one has to be the Bugle Basement or the Scorpion and Rhino battles. Oh, nope. You can actually skip the entirety of this level with this glitch. I'm just gonna push this guy away, just so he's not that annoying. Nope. Nice. I can't get this. One of the easiest tricks and I can't get it. There you go. Now don't die, please. And yeah, that is this mission. Very simple. Uses the same route. For this one, we're gonna manipulate some of the web ball. If you use the web ball, you can like start doing animations, so like you can start swinging at the other side. And to activate the next comic is pretty much why we're doing this. Is because the comic's sitting right over there once you trigger the force switch. And that's it. Very easy level, but any percent you just skip it completely because of walls are not loaded properly in this game, which is the only reason why this game is so broken. It's just the walls aren't refined, so you can just no clip into walls if you find certain spots or manipulate Spider-Man to go through it.
Move it, Spidey, move it.
And here we go with the textures again. I just hope this game does not crash. If it does crash, I'll just insert a cheat code just to go back to the mission. I pretty much know at this point where we left off.
Coming through.
But there is a strat here where you can bypass this mission before you turn off the water. But we don't do that because we have to get this comic right here. Nice. Stuck in limbo. That's, yeah. A lot of these comics are very straightforward. If you just have the exploration, you'll just find most of them. This one, there's no comic, just beat the puzzle, which is literally 2 switches. One down there.
Ooh, look at the big brain on Spidey.
This would have been another good place to have the comic in, instead of like having the doors open, you do a specific puzzle or pattern. This one, we're gonna do the same route, but we're just gonna take a small different direction first. We're gonna meet the lizard because the lizard is very cool and he gives us tricks. He gives us hints about where Venom is. Pretty good hints if you ask me. But we actually don't need to listen to them. We just need to get the comic right there. That's the only reason why. That's another straightforward one. Right in front of you. And hopefully we get this glitch perfectly. You can do the maze as normal, but since I'm pretty cool and cool kids only do this, we can just bypass it with this. And that is this mission.
My, said the spider to the smaller spider.
And some of these soundtracks are complete bangers. Shoutouts to my boy Tommy Tallarico. The guy's an ultimate savage on Twitter, bro. But yeah, this one you'd expect there is some comic, but this is pretty like there's no comic here. They aren't even playing. The soundtrack is very quiet. If you listen closely, you can hear most of it, especially the ear rape parts. That's very nice to hear, especially on my end. So for this one, I stick with a different route. I don't get these switches to go to the elevator. I can just clip to the wall. But for this, we need to get the comic, which we need to free the civilians. So I might as well free the civilians at this point.
Yeah, I bet there are no symbiotes in here either.
So that's the hostages. Just flick 2 switches, and a final switch by the elevator, and that's about it. Nope, stop it.
They seem to be coming from the basement.
And yeah, normally I just clip through the elevator wall, but
How many of them are there?
it's okay. So this one I'm gonna stick with the older route. There is a newer route of this. In any percent, you can just bypass like most of the level. What we're gonna just do is just skip this part, and we're gonna have to open this elevator.
The other door.
So with the new route, it deloads this part, so you can't actually get in the elevator. But yeah, well, we just gotta stick with the older route sometimes.
There's one down.
Alright, that's 2. So we just need to get 1 here, and we can just do the out of bounds. So we normally have to get 2 more, and we can't go through here yet, or else it locks us out. But just clip through this wall, pretty easy, and just touch the exit.
The basement of the Daily View.
Here is the hardest comic to get in my honest opinion, or in my I think my honest opinion, I'd say. It's not straight facts, but you have to you have to touch these web. So see how the good thing goes blue, and yeah, and from there we can do our old route, which is in cutscene skip.
It's not the heat, it's the
And since we have the fire, we can just burn these symbiotes down, make our life a little bit easier. We just hope I get this first try. And we got it. So normally there's a cutscene there. It takes about 10 seconds slower, but you can just touch. You have full control, and you can just go to the exit.
Welcome to your nightmare, Spider-Man.
Here's another not so straightforward comic. Pretty straightforward if you happen to be on the bottom couple rows. Okay, we just need to trigger that.
With my impact webs, I can take them out.
And then we just gotta go here. We just gotta keep an eye where the comic is. I do not remember. There we go. We just got it.
You know, Mysterio, the bigger they are, the harder they fall.
There you go.
Time to burst your bubble, Mysterio.
Oh, looks like that didn't work. Okay. So there's a glitch. If you hang right on the edge, he won't be able to grab you. Obviously, I did not do a great job with that.
The bigger they are,
And obviously, these spikes are not that great. If this game was less lenient, I'd just be getting owned right here. But there you pretty straightforward.
Ah, the
So here is 2 comics, and in this mission is like where I stated that this route is disgusting now, because how this game works is that if you just touch the area where you're supposed to exit, you can just like end the mission. But like I said, if you deload too much of the game, you won't be able to touch some of the comics. So we had to get that one. We restarted just to get back here. And we're gonna do the old strat, which is we only load this part. We die, so we get full web cartridges too, which is good for that. But also the reason why we die is we have to just reload this part. And since we get a checkpoint, it's pretty useful here. And here is one of the second comic, and yeah, that's the old route pretty much. We only use it for this category and for 100%, but 100% is a terrible game to run, only because of one costume you have to get. And I think in the PC version there are, I think, 9 costumes in total. N64 does not have one costume, which is the Amazing Bagman.
You could put someone's eye out with that. Who built this place?
I think Sam, you still you did this in your last PB.
I'm getting a feeling somebody doesn't want me here.
Oh no. Oh, what a shame.
Woo!
Sometimes that happens. But it's okay. It's okay. There's a reason why I gave myself so much such a big estimate time.
Someone's eye out with that. Who built this place?
See, and sometimes these swings don't go out so well too. It's like you want to go straight, but then it latches onto the closest thing and you go zooming. So for this comic, you flick the switch and it'll open an area underneath the starting area. But what's cool about the N64 version is that it's made by Edge of Reality, and developed by Edge of Reality. And I don't know what they did to this game, but they made certain areas like climbable. So like I'll show an example here. You can't climb up this wall. You can't do it. And in the PS1 version you can't do it on PC, and I'm fairly certain you can't do it on Dreamcast. But for some reason, you can do it on the N64 version, and that you can glitch through this and just go underneath here. So the only time the console would be quicker is this and the web dome glitch, which is an exclusive glitch with N64. So this game has some like really good potential with the N64 version. I've heard I know a few runners that tried to do the web dome glitch. It doesn't seem doable in with terms of the actual console itself. But in EMU, if you set up the controls to the PC, I didn't find it all too difficult. It's not 100% like, oh, it's not a flawless trick, but it is doable. So maybe at a time we'll get up to there, but it really depends. It really depends if people find a way. And then here's another one. We're gonna use the reset level again. Pretty simple. There's another secret area up there. I think there is a armor up there, but it is pretty high. And you say Black Cat. If you didn't know, because we don't watch cutscenes, because we're speedrunners and we don't watch cutscenes, Black Cat gets captured midway by the thugs, so you actually get to see her again. Nope. And here's a few of the great audio performance that this game has. It's just the massive droning of the music, which completely ear rapes on my end. It may not be so bad, but it's pretty bad in here.
Spider, whatever you did, it worked.
Hey, what else is a Spider-Man for? You go and get some help, Cat. I'll find out who's behind all this.
You got it. I'll be.
When enter Electro, I actually no. There actually it's all comics. I have no idea if it's been done yet. That seems interesting. I would actually like someone to see that.
You will never get past my barrier, Spider-Man.
He's right.
Oh, and so since we're nearing at the end of the game, it's a good time to bring up that
His shield is drawing power from his.
at the end, at the last, so this boss and the next boss, Carnage, they're time sensitive comics to get.
Whatever you
So
useless
hopefully I don't screw things up here. I hope to God I don't. That's all I hope for. If I don't happen to get it, I'll just reset the mission.
One more should do it.
So we're gonna grab this just in case. I don't think we. I'm gonna let him attack again. The reason why I want to let him attack.
Time to pay the piper.
Sometimes this gets delayed.
Uh-oh.
Nope.
Looks like his shield is
I was close. Stop it. I got snaked. Nice. I'll just reset it from my,
barrier, Spider-Man.
for just safety purposes.
Find some way to draw power away from his
I normally don't fail first cycle lock. So I actually don't know what happens.
I still need to draw more power.
If I do happen to do second cycle lock, because I actually never.
Whatever you are
I don't know where the comic spawns next, to be quite honest with you. So it might as well just a backup strat just to reset the run, reset the mission to say the least.
Working. One more should
And normally, first cycle Awk, if you happen to miss that, it usually counts as a reset. It's a pretty big time save.
That's it. Time to pay the piper, Ock.
Oh, this is not good.
Uh-oh. Looks like he's
Again.
You will never
So
get past my barrier, Spider-Man.
that happens. Sometimes the second kick won't happen. Sometimes I've had it once where my kicks don't register, like my first and second kicks. So
this shield
all
is drawing
kicks
power
have to
from
matter.
his, but I still need to draw more power.
It's like literally the first time it's happened to me. It's quite annoying.
Whatever you are trying is useless.
Normally you can get away with one kick, but normally it corrects itself, so you can only miss one kick, based on my experience.
Working. One more should do it.
Yeah, it's a pretty annoying strat. Like I said, I normally don't fail this, but we'll let him attack. Come on, Ock.
That's it. Time to pay the piper, Ock.
Excuse me? Okay, so I guess he doesn't like that too. So I wouldn't have gotten that either.
He's right. I need to
I
find
don't know
some
what
way to
happened.
draw power away from his shield.
Oh, why is this happening to me now?
Yes, this shield is drawing power from his, but I still need to draw more power.
I'll be honest, this sucks. I'll be completely fair with you.
It's working.
Also, his lines are really annoying too. It's good the first time you hear it, but oh man, he gets really annoying. Okay, attack, please. All right,
That's it. Time to pay the piper, Ock.
that's more like it. Beautiful.
Uh-oh.
There you
Looks like the
go.
shield is regenerated.
Hey, did I get it?
Golden.
And I got it too. Thank God.
That's a sonic.
So for this one, this is all about timing too. So we need to get this comic as this next force field comes up. So we get it here,
Stop you.
and I got it.
Evil plan.
And there you go. That's simple. Not a hard boss if you don't do this strat. Pretty hard if it's a hard boss if you don't do this strat. It's a pretty easy boss if you do this strat. Pretty exploitable if you ask me. And we got the final two comics in this mission.
This place is gonna blow. I gotta get out of here.
This is all time based too, but since Awk is not a hard mission, pretty easy to get. So the first one is just right up this corner. Just hug this wall, and by the time you hit there, you get the first comic.
The vent goes up here. I need to zip line up.
So you get this, and then I think the last one is right before the final two levels.
You won't let off.
Also, what's a fun fact about me in this mission? I've stated this in my stream, but to be honest, I have no idea like what the actual like direction to go is. But with muscle memory, like if you practice this more than enough, like muscle memory will just take its course. Like, to be honest, I'm not expecting this like straight to happen right so soon. So yeah, Doc Ock, well, Monster Ock has some pretty terrible rubber banding. So, and the camera failed. That's another rare issue. So normally the camera doesn't act like this. It's quite a, I don't know why that happens. So that's gonna definitely affect my muscle memory here. Yeah, so yeah, this is gonna really screw up my muscle memory. And I gotta hope that I remember where the... Oh, it's here. Okay. There you go. Yeah, normally I'd be facing the other way now, but yeah, this sucks. This really sucks. I do not know where I'm going, so this is pretty much improv here. It looks so weird from this side. You get this happen from time to time, but I never had it in this direction. And I think we're up to time. Ready on time. There you go, time. Wow. But yeah. Yeah, that camera was pretty atrocious. And it was pretty hard to deal with too. But for all comics' sakes, we don't watch the cutscene. We actually do have to confirm, and we got it. We got all comics, and all these comics, if you're wondering, they're actually based out of actual comics. So you get the Amazing Spider-Man 1. I mean, I saw 2 up here, so don't blame me. But the comics that you see that are lying on the ground is based off of Amazing Fantasy 15. But yeah, that's about it. Normally I'd miss one comic if it's a terrible run. This was pretty terrible run. Usually, normally there's not this much mistakes. But yeah, we got it, and I think we're safe to move on to Transformers in this case. If you guys want to do some editing, or if I can just jump onto the thing, it's all up to you guys.